In a world where content is limitless, two dudes forge an unbreakable bond to become a part of something larger than themselves by creating a podcast unlike nothing the world has ever heard. Time is running out, and all hope will soon be lost. Their content could hold the key to fight against the darkness. No matter how many podcasts the people have listened to, they haven't heard us. Not us united.
Nick, I want you to put on your best suit. I want you to put on your finest glasses. I want you to put on your best shoes, your belt, your tie, your fanciest car. Because you know where we're going?
I don't know, but I think you're going to tell me.
I am going to tell you. We're going to the House of Gucci, son.
Ooh.
Because that's the movie we're going to be reviewing right now.
I love it. We're going.
House of
All the
Gucci,
way.
directed by Ridley Scott.
Yeah.
Stars.
Interesting.
Yeah. Not a movie that I think he would necessarily be a director for.
Mm-hmm.
We got Adam Driver. We got Lady Gaga. We got Al Pacino.
Jared
Leto. We got Jeremy Irons. We got, that's pretty much the star-studded cast that I know.
Selma Hayek. Mm-hmm.
We got other people.
I didn't even know she was in this movie, but until she showed up, obviously.
Yeah, until we watched it, she was there. Now, Nick, I think the people, what's the lead up to this movie? Like, you see the trailers, you see, I don't know, just from off the top of my head, you see a very tall man, and you see a very short, previously was a singer woman, and they're in a relationship. How does that make you feel, Nick?
Okay, I'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
The trailer sucked us in because we saw this trailer for the first time, I think, together when we went and saw some movie. One of the most... It was a recent movie.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one it was.
We see so many.
But I remember it being Sweet Dreams was the song that they were playing. I was like, okay, you got me because I'm already in.
Yep.
Like, great song, which means if it's actually around this time period, I'm in. So, like, early 90s, late 80s. You got Lady Gaga. All right, I'm in. I'm a Star is Born bandwagoner, whatever. Like, she did great in it. I'm like, okay. She's one of those that, like, first movie, knocked it out of the park. All right, so I'll go support you, whatever. Then I saw Adam Driver's in it. All right, my boy, Kylo Ren, Ben Swallow, I'm in. Let's do this. I didn't know they were together at first.
Got it.
But then I started doing some research. I was like, I think they're a couple in this.
Mm-hmm.
And it freaked me out, dude.
Yeah.
It's a lot of power.
It took you this entire movie to, like, get to that fact. To just, like, get it in your mind.
Which, boy, yeah. And, man, I don't know. Like, he's starting to get some, like, roles where he is just, like, not that he's not undeserving of this, but I think just, like, I haven't warmed up to the fact that he's, like, went from Sith Lord to, like, hottie.
Yeah.
he just
Hottie
went from,
with a
like,
swole boy
Disney
body
to sexy little fast for me, where I'm just like, oh shit, it's happening. Like, everyone's, like, going after Adam Driver now.
But is he? Like,
I mean, I think on paper the dude's about as attractive as it gets, right? I mean, the dude literally was
jacked,
like,
huge.
He's a veteran
Mm-hmm.
who's like, you know what? Never mind, I'm just going to act instead because I'm really good at it. Paid his dues with, like, Disney and did, like, the whole thing. Took it on the chin with this, because not a lot of those people from the sequel trilogy are having, like,
a lot of success. Yeah.
I mean, they're all still in it. Like, they're not sunk because of it, but I mean, it wasn't necessarily, like, great.
Yeah, I haven't seen Daisy really do a lot of stuff besides that. Or John Boyega.
Yeah, Oscar Isaac already had a little bit pre
he's doing
and is doing a lot of stuff post, so he's obviously able to do that. But Adam Driver, I mean, I think he just kind of gets out unscathed.
Mm-hmm.
even though he's like the best character of that trilogy.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So, anyway, for me, it's just like it's been getting warmed up. So I was like, oh, dude, I know you're a good actor, so like I'm excited to see you and stuff. And then you get the marriage stories, and you get these other ones, and there's a couple others that I haven't seen him in that I want to.
There's a movie, and it's gonna be here's the where Michael talks about a boring movie, movie Patterson, where he's literally just like a bus driver, and I heard it's just like a slice of life. He's just like a bus driver, and nothing happens, but like I want to see it so bad. But it's kind of like just like it's a slow, methodical, and it's just him just kind of like acting. Yeah. It's just him.
The one I never got to see him in was, I think it's called Silence.
Oh yeah,
I haven't seen that. Andrew Garfield,
and
Liam
Neeson,
are like
they're missionaries going to Japan. Yeah,
that seems pretty cool.
That's been on my watch list.
I don't know why I haven't seen it. And then we really want to see him in The Last Duel, also a Ridley Scott film.
Oh man,
he did back-to-back films within like a month of each other. So Last Duel is one we need to get to, I think.
Yeah, I would love to see it. I really, really, really want to see it. It just like wasn't showing in our area.
Yeah, it was like for some reason like a spotlight film, and so you had to like get in like in the 3 days that they released it or whatever. But anyway, that was just a long way to say I wasn't prepared for them to be a couple, and I'm still not okay with it. I don't know why. It's just too much power for one.
Lots of nose. A lot of nose definition.
She can't be tamed, and neither can he. It's just a wild couple.
She's in the deep end, and she's gonna dive in.
There's no shallow lows at all. Amen.
So, non-spoiler review of House of Gucci. Would you like to describe what's going on in this movie?
Yeah, so this is like a semi-biographical drama film.
Inspired by true events,
which I do think like the main big ones that happen throughout the film are true. And then obviously I think some of it's probably dramatized to make it an entertaining film. It is the tale of the family of Gucci, known for its leather goods and overpriced sneakers and purses.
What? Leather goods? Leather goods, Nick?
Yeah, they have leather goods.
I know, but I would go for purses and watches and shoes.
I was getting there. I was describing what goods of leather they provide. I said purses and shoes.
You could have given me 10 words that I would say. Leather goods would never have shown up.
I think, by definition, they're a leather goods company.
No, you're right. You are right.
Oh, okay.
I'm just...
Oh, you should have never heard leather goods before.
Not in a general conversation.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But thank you.
Sorry.
Leather goods. Please
leather
continue.
goods.
I love it.
Yeah. From the Oregon Trail. Just your classic.
Yep, just get on the horseback. And,
yep.
Man, yep. I think half my kids are going to die on this trail, but good thing I have these leather goods. My saddle and my satchel.
Correct. Yep. But it tells the story of kind of, it's already been established by this point in the movie. Like, Gucci is still a thing. But it tells the story of some of the family members who are particularly more involved in the business. Drama that happens. Because it is a family-owned business, there's some, like, heart to the company.
Right.
But it's also kind of what leads to its downfall in the end. And no spoilers, but if you know anything about Gucci now, none of the Gucci family members have any ownership of the company. It's publicly owned now by other people. So, all that to say that the drama eventually doesn't work out for them. So,
how much of Gucci did you know prior to seeing House of Gucci? Like, I knew they sold leather goods, but
they do sell leather goods. I'll give you that.
How close are you to even walking into a Gucci store?
I think the only time I've ever been able to go to like a store would be if it was just randomly, like when we've gone to like Disney World a few times, and there's like the
Sure.
downtown Disney like Florida mall that's full of like there literally is like a Ralph Lauren. There is
the fancy stuff.
Yeah, the big stores. But no, I've never like stepped foot to be like, I'm here to buy a set of Gucci shoes for $900.
Let me get your leather goods, please.
Yes.
Yeah, same. I think I've been into a Gucci store. I don't know. I don't know anything Gucci.
I will say I do now have a bucket list of wanting to go into a Gucci store and saying, I'm here to buy leather goods.
How many times can we say leather goods before people get tired of it?
I would like to partake and consume some of your leather goods.
Good sir, would you have any leather goods at your disposal that I may purchase with coin?
Exactly.
On this day, if not, maybe the morrow, could I return on horseback to...
Wait, you think... Okay, got it. So when I say leather goods, you think medieval.
I just think, like, I'm never saying leather goods in a conversation in my life.
Why? Why does that sound so lame?
It just sounds so archaic to me.
Weird.
Maybe that's just me. Leather goods. Like a leather couch, yeah, I'll say leather, or like a leather interior of a car. I'm not saying that for like a purse or some shoes. I would say like fashion items.
Got it.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It's this guy.
Never say leather goods ever again. Got it. Fair enough.
Anyways, what were your general impressions
Yes.
of House of Gucci? Casa de Gucci.
Oh man, I would be curious to see how many people are going because they're actually interested in Gucci,
Yeah.
or were just interested to see said people act in a movie that happened to be about Gucci.
Yeah, I think you're like 10%
Yeah.
for interested in Gucci and 90% like, oh, these are some good actors.
And
in this
so with that, my thought would be you really are going there to see these people act.
Yeah.
And you will see them act well.
movie. There's definitely acting on the screen, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do enjoy the actors they chose doing
Yes.
what they do.
Yes.
But if you came to be entertained by like a story about this family, it's not so biographical that it's like informational. It's dramatized enough that you kind of, I don't know, you kind of get lost in the weeds a little bit.
Yeah, for me, like, acting, cool. 10 out of 10.
Mhm.
You did it. You acted.
Yep.
For me, it's just like, maybe it's something that I'm just not interested in the House of Gucci, or I mean, like, yeah, but
why should you care?
Why should I care? But it's still like it is still kind of like a political crime drama in a way, but like and that is a story that is interesting to me. But I just feel like the acting is what holds this movie, and the writing is fine, and the cinematography is fine. I just like I don't really care.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's long, and I don't think movies should be penalized for being long. I just think you should warrant the length of your movie, and I don't think this movie really warrants that.
Mm-hmm.
This is like it should be like a crisp 2 hours, and like yeah, I understand. Here's your third act, and like here's your sections, and it's just this happens, and then we get our ending, and it just feels like I don't know. It just doesn't work for me, and I think you could shave at least 20 minutes off of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think Ridley Scott is just trying to do an epic with this movie, where it's not coming together for me.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's bad.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's fine, and I just have a hard time for me recommending it to someone else to see it.
Right.
I'm like, oh, you really got to see this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. I think I told you this when I left the theater. We went and saw this together. We did a double feature.
Yes, sir.
Anyway,
We're not talking about the movie we saw before.
yeah, we're not gonna do it. So, but I left going, hey, there were some like admirable things about this film,
Mhm.
and if you would have told me like, hey Nick, I'm gonna tell you about a movie that says directed by Ridley Scott,
Yeah.
Lady Gaga, and Adam Driver main actors, also supporting small roles, Jeremy Irons, Al Pacino, and Jared Leto. Holy shit.
Yeah. Like,
Okay, tell me more. That sounds wild.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, but guess what? We picked the most boring story we could have told with all of those people. I was like, oh no. Like, and don't get me wrong, if that's exactly what happened with the Gucci fam and they were like super accurate, hey,
See,
they did what they did. But
Yeah.
like, I just am like, I can think of 100 other things with those cast members
Yeah.
that I'm like, Ridley, why this?
I think it is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. Maybe it isn't. I don't know. I have this weird, like, dichotomy with this movie where it's like, yeah, I like it, but I don't.
Yeah. If I want to watch a story with people who have marriage problems, I'll just watch a marriage story.
Yeah, that's a far better movie.
Yeah. And so
This is just like
I'm not going to recommend this.
this isn't a bad movie.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't a great movie. It's a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't find myself returning to it a lot.
No.
I enjoy the people in it, I enjoy their acting, and I
Yeah.
enjoy who is casting, and I think it's finely directed. I just don't think it's just like, man, it's no Goodfellas. It's no like Gangs of
Mhm.
New York. It's no like
Yeah.
like Ridley Scott is such an interesting choice because he is such an epic director of like Gladiator,
Mm-hmm.
Aliens, all these other like big movies. Is this? Let's start with director. Is Ridley Scott the best choice for this movie? I would say, yeah, it's a good choice. I think my initial is like Martin Scorsese, but that feels like way too like up his alley to be like, oh, he's just doing another crime drama thing
Yeah, I'm already more interested though.
with Scorsese.
Yeah. Yeah. No knock at Ridley Scott. I'm just like,
Oh, love the guy. Yeah.
there's no
Good old
no
Ridley.
epicness to this
Mm-hmm.
except for one scene that really has like
Yeah.
some action in it. You
And
know?
I think it does. I think it hits. I think the scenes work well, maybe on their own, but put together, it's just like it kind of loses itself. The cohesion
Mhm.
doesn't mix. Like, and this is sounding really harsh in this movie. You'll hear my score, and you'll maybe from what I'm saying is higher than you'll think, but I just think overall this movie should be an Oscar contender for me. And as for Best Picture, it's not a Best Picture for me. It is an acting alone, and that's it.
Yeah, I agree. I think where this movie excels, it does so very well, but I don't think it's middle of the ground in any of the other categories.
Mhm.
So, like, for me, it's like acting, yup. Soundtrack, yup. Immersion, yeah. I feel like they did a really good job of making me feel like I'm not in 2021.
Yeah.
They did a really good job. And then all of the other things, character arcs, story overall, I mean, it's pretty easy to follow. There's no real mystery.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the story as a whole is like fine. It doesn't need to be mysterious. But so maybe that's the only middle ground, is I feel like the plot was pretty just like, you had enough to make a movie.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what you had. And then everything else, I just feel like it just doesn't succeed at,
Yeah.
you know? And that's what's going to unfortunately give it like a pretty rough score, because like for me it's like, oh, it's scoring very high in like
In certain
3
categories,
categories,
yeah.
and then like it's non-scoring in like 6.
Which
you know?
is, it's really tough because it's like, if you have like such a well acted movie, you're like, oh, the other around. It's just like, because so like
Mhm.
walking out of this, we're like, I don't know what
We're
I thought of it.
conflicted,
Yeah,
yeah.
we're like, wow, that was good.
Yeah. If you're watching this as like test footage for like, can these people act?
Yeah.
Yep, they
Mhm.
can. They can do it very well,
Mhm.
you know? But if you're watching it to be like, hey, you know what we need to watch tonight? House of
House of
Gucci.
Gucci.
Never gonna happen.
Put out 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost, yeah. It's like 250,
Mhm.
247, something like that. It's wild.
Yeah.
A ridiculous runtime, especially for some of the stuff we're probably going to gripe on it for, to be that long and not do like some of the things.
Yeah, I feel like that's maybe where I'm so conflicted about. Is like you had so much time to invest in these characters and this storyline that I didn't see the result of that.
Right.
And you chose to do certain things that I are like fine, but it didn't really advance what it needed to.
Yep. Agreed. So why don't we give it a score and then let's just jump right into this puppy.
This one's tough. Man, I don't know. This one's so tough because yes, it's like 10 out of 10 in some areas and like 4 or 5 out of 10 in so many others. I think overall, man, that's tough. I would say because I wouldn't recommend it to people, I would rate it a little lower. And I would probably say like a 6.5.
Okay. You're higher than I am.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I'm like thinking like 5.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. I've got reasons. Yeah, I think 5 out of 10. I
That's
think
lower than I thought, but
I think
okay.
every point
fair,
of that
totally
5,
fair.
it earns
Yeah.
the hell out of it. The other 5 didn't do it.
Wow. That's actually kind of shocking to me.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not going to recommend it to everyone. I think if you want to, I think everyone did their assignment,
Mm-hmm.
and I think everyone showed up correctly. I just think this was a missed opportunity in the source material. They could have totally done something. Like, it just feels like
This should be a home run.
Oh, yeah, wild.
Yeah. Wow, a 5. Hey,
Yep.
I probably would go lower, giving more time.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I might revisit this to just double check, but like, I just wasn't vibing with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but there are some memorable things that I will never forget about this movie, and I'm
Let's get
excited
into
to talk
it.
about it.
Let's talk about that right now, because spoiler time, man. Sitting next to Nick maybe gave me an extra half a star on this movie because my goodness, was this man uncomfortable. This man did not enjoy this movie, and I was having a blast just watching him struggle.
We've gone to many movies together.
Some great, some were werewolves within.
Yep.
Some were Dune.
Some were Dune.
Some were that's pretty much the
Yeah. We got a few firsts out of the way.
We've had a really good relationship, and we've done a lot of things together. And last night was a different thing.
Last night, yeah. So at one point in the film, for some reason, they decided like, hey, you should know that Lady Gaga and Adam Driver are in love. And we're like, hey, I'm tracking.
Yeah.
Makes sense. They've gone on a few dates. They love each other. Also, they said they love each other.
Yeah.
I think I got it.
Within one scene of meeting each other, yeah.
Correct. And yeah, I tracked with it. And then for some reason the movie's like, well, we just need to like really make sure you know. And I'm just like, no, like I got it. Like I understand. And it's like, no, like hear me out. I'm like, okay.
So there's a desk.
Yeah. So there's this scene where Lady Gaga was just like, yo, hey, come back to the break room for a sec. Let's have some fun. You're like, oh, hey, it's implied that you're about to have sex.
Mm-hmm.
Totally get it. I understand it, and you're in love, and hey, I understand. And the movie's like, no, like, I don't think you understand.
I don't think you understand.
Like, but, like, what more do I need to understand?
The table
like,
is shaking, Nick.
Yeah. And so for some reason, Michael and I had to witness, like, what felt like 2 full minutes of, like, a sex scene with Lady Gaga and Adam Driver, who I'm already not okay with.
That's like that's where like I think a lot of your uncomfortableness comes from that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I can, whatever. I understand Hollywood has to do what they have to do, but it's a twofold thing. One, it probably was 15 seconds, and it felt like 90.
It was a long time,
or whatever. But it just was like it was way too long. And I'm also just not okay with these two being together. And it was just aggressive, and I'm just like, anyway. Well, now we've got that out of the way, so we'll never be uncomfortable around each other ever again.
Yeah,
watching movies.
we've hit our peak.
If we're still making podcasts, we're fine.
Yeah, the only reason I'm not uncomfortable with that was because it was so funny to me. Because
it's comically like over the top.
No, because of your reactions to it.
Damn it.
Because you were so you were just like, yo, Adam Driver and Lady Gaga are having sex.
Well, I think even like 30 seconds before, I was just like,
I'm not ready for this.
No, I'm not ready for this.
Like anytime, the funny part was like they were building to it so much,
Yeah.
like they were on the rowboat, they were in the house together, they were doing, and like every time they were like alone, you're like, I'm not ready for this, and like it was just like, and then like as scene went by, they didn't do it, and like, and you're like, whew, and then another scene came up, I was like, I'm not ready for this, and then like nothing happened.
I
It's
was
like,
basically like Spider-Man by the time they got together. I'm like, I don't feel so good. It was wild. Anyway,
let's stay within that first half or the first third of the movie where like where I cut it off as like their wedding. What did you think of like their blossoming relationship?
totally fine. I don't have any issues with it.
Mm-hmm.
I actually enjoyed kind of how crisp and like, I was like, there's certainly more to the story than them falling in love. So like, I was kind of okay with how brief it was.
Yeah.
I didn't need 3 more beats of like, why are you in love with each other?
I agree with that if the movie was shorter.
Okay.
Because it is so long, I would have taken some stuff out of the middle. Like it hinges
In retrospect,
on
I see what you're saying, yeah.
retrospect, like in the moment, I'm like, cool. I like the fast pace of this. I like the like, cool. Yeah, let's move on. But like it slows down so much. I would like to have like, this is the central part of our story, and Adam Driver, like,
Interesting. Okay.
I understand why initially Lady Gaga is obsessed with Monsieur Gucci, because like he says his name and then she's obsessed with him. Like she cannot get enough of that Gucci. And like I just don't get the reciprocatedness of like Adam Driver and be like, I am in love with her.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I broke him. I think I broke Nick.
You just casually said, I can't get enough of that Gucci, and then you just like went on like you didn't just say something like anyway.
Ladies and gentlemen, this might be our last episode.
All right, we're good. Okay.
But I just feel like, and he's like, I'm in love with her father, and I'm just like, you like just didn't feel like you just kept like she just kept coming after you, and you were like, get out of my way, I need my bike, my moped, I need to go home.
Yeah, they explained well why she was in love.
Yes.
Not so much why he was. That's fair. I think in retrospect, knowing all of it, there's more out of other areas of the story that I kind of wanted to mine more
than that. Okay.
That's fair. But I agree with that. Like, if there were to be like, hey, we shaved off 20 minutes, or hey, 20 minutes of this are just going to be erased. Now put it wherever you want. 5 more minutes.
Yeah.
Totally fine.
Yeah, give me 5-10 minutes, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm fine with that. And probably would have done that too if given that amount of time. No, I'm with you. That makes sense. The chemistry didn't bother me. I think they were fine. Yeah. Like I said, it still scares me. It's too much power for one couple, but it scares me. But maybe that's why it's perfect. Maybe they did such a good job. Like, maybe we were supposed to feel like this couple, there's just too much power that they can never survive.
You're right. You were just feeling that energy.
Yeah. So maybe I was just like picking up on something that like was always meant to be. Like, they're just too strong independently.
Yeah.
That they can't do it. But, yeah. So that's my first, like, the first act I would say is like pretty strong.
Let me tell you about the next 2/3 of this movie.
Okay.
This movie is the rest of this 2/3 is probably like 2 hours long. What even happened? Like,
yeah,
like you had 2 hours of this movie, and it's just like, wait, what even happened?
Yeah.
Like, literally, what happened was they got married. Jeremy Irons is like, "You're not my son anymore, Mamma Mia." And then Al Pacino comes in and is like, "Maybe you should come back to Gucci and live with me." And then they do, and then they take over the business. And like, Adam Driver and Lady Gaga kind of takes over because she's like the conniving, like, "Oh, I want to take more of this power. And then Adam Driver's like, "Yeah, let's do it." And then after a while, Adam Driver's like, "Wait, never mind. You're manipulating, and I want my family, but then maybe I don't want my family." And then he gets shot.
It's a lot. This is one of those times where I'm not usually a proponent for like narration.
Mm-hmm.
This movie could have benefited heavily from narrating some stuff.
From who? Adam Driver,
or even either
anybody,
or.
anybody,
maybe both.
anybody.
Maybe both of them could have like explained to me her plan, because parts of this movie are just like, and now we're taking down this guy. It's like, why are you taking down people? I understand that you're like money hungry, but like
you started off not as money hungry, and now Well, I think Lady Gaga's character was always a little bit money hungry because she was Gucci.
Sure, but she was in love at first, then was like, oh shit, we can do some stuff.
I think it was.
Do you think there was always a part of her?
I think there was always a part of her.
Really? Because he said she was a lawyer or whatever.
No, because he said Gucci. And it either was power, name recognition, whatever. She was obsessed
Gucci was already
with him.
made at that
She was
point.
obsessed with him.
Yeah.
And then he loses his money, and then she finds, like, I actually do really love this person.
Got it.
And then when he gets the power back, it's like, wait, this is, like, awakening again in me. Like, you can do so much more. We can be so much more. Let's do it. Let's become this empire. And then, like, the point of, like, there's a moment where Al Pacino kind of, like, stops them. And then they're just like, all right, we got to take him out. And then we got to take out Jared Leto. And then now we're done. It's like, for spending so much time, how did we not get that connective tissue just a little bit more?
Yeah. Her arc is confusing on how it gets so bad so fast.
Yeah.
His arc for me, what was really confusing was he wants nothing to do with them. Okay, I'll toy around with doing stuff with Gucci. All right, we're kind of doing stuff with Gucci, but I'm kind of keeping like my arm's length. And then he's just like, I'm whole hog Gucci, baby.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the
Yeah,
when?
in like
He's
10
like,
minutes.
No, Gucci's the best thing that's ever happened ever. It's like, your whole arc was that Gucci wasn't that big of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's just like, nope, it's the greatest of all time. He's like, oh.
Yeah, he's like, within the span of like probably like 15 minutes, he's like, yeah, Gucci kind of sucks. It's okay. But anyway, and then like 15 minutes later, it's like, okay, I hate my wife. I want to be a Gucci man. I'm going to cheat on her and divorce her, ruin my family's life. And then I'm going to go backstab everybody. And then I'm going to like portray my family and become Mr. Gucci.
Yeah, and then they tried to connect some dots there where they're like, oh, she was right about you guys. Like my ex-wife was actually kind of right. And it's like, you didn't do a good enough job of connecting that if she truly was a parasite, that she infected him.
Like, she was the issue. Like, it didn't seem like she was really the issue. Like I
once
get, like,
she
her...
left, he should be okay with, like, I could leave Gucci or whatever. I don't really care. But, like, what? And then all of a sudden he's buying shit and stuff. Like, it's never been about the money. I don't know. There's just a lot of inconsistencies, which is odd because you had plenty of time to explain all of the arcs. And so it just felt like, am I supposed to know all this stuff about Gucci? Because this is 2 hours and 47 minutes long. Shouldn't I be told some things? And that's why I think narration would have been helpful to be like, and now that he did this, his loyalties started to change. Oh, good. That gives me at least a cue that, like, something is changing. Instead of, it's now a new scene, 5 years have passed, and I guess he's a dick.
Yeah. And then, like, they do that in a nice way. I enjoy that, like, having the kid and having it be like, oh, she's like 7 now. Oh, she's like 10 now. And it's like,
time passing
visually,
wasn't the issue.
No, it wasn't.
It's just motive telling was awful.
You can do exactly what they did time passing wise. And I thought that was great. You didn't have to be like, oh, now it's 10 years later. It's like they did it visually, and I enjoyed that. It's just, I didn't like it was just like, I didn't get. You had you have so much time. Where did the time go in this movie? That's my thing. Where did it go?
Yeah, I don't know, but it was long.
It was long. It felt long. And like, how did we not get these characters' motivations? And it was over 2.5 hours long.
Yeah. To me, it felt like... It truly felt like the writing wasn't up to par, but they were kind of like, but look, what if we tell a story that's interesting enough because it's a brand, and we get these people on it? People are just like, shit, that's gonna make money. Yeah. It's like, that's not the point, though. Like, this should be interesting regardless of who's in it.
I think there is an interesting story here.
Yeah. I just don't think they connected the dots enough. Yeah. I agree. And it's kind of just like, it's led to, which is weird because, like, Lady Gaga probably will get the nom.
Yeah, I think so.
Even though the character itself
and the, like, acted arcs, that character.
She did a fine job, but it's just like, I'm stuck, like, wanting to know why it went from... There were parts of this movie that felt like, okay, A goes to B, I'm there. B goes to C, and they're like, no, B goes to E. And I was like, whoa. When did that happen, though? And there's like, keep up.
Yeah, Gucci.
It's like, why are we fast forwarding when a movie's almost 3 hours long?
I think the biggest example of that is when I understand the divorce sucks. I understand, like, her losing the power, and that's, like, her one thing. But, like, the B to E is like, okay, now I'm going to kill him.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Her becoming, like, I understand the obsessed with him, but the obsessive, I will kill.
Didn't come out. What? Did not. Yeah. What's your end goal here?
Yeah. And so I think that's where I'm like, and then there's just kind of this, like, weird subplot of, I also have, like, a psychic that I use.
Yeah, but they have to introduce her because she was arrested.
Yeah, but it's still, there's no positive fruit that comes from it that makes me believe, why would you keep going back? None of what she's done has helped you so far, but that kind of makes it seem, it's like in the biography, like, this would be one of the episodes by itself. She started going to a psychic, the psychic started telling her right shit, so she started doing this, and this. That solidified her going to the psychic over and over and over again. All we get is 2 scenes where she's like, you're gonna get fortune. Sick. Yeah. So she does it, and then, like, the next one's like, everything's gonna suck, and you're gonna have to kill your husband. And you're like, what the hell?
I want this movie. I want this movie to be shot differently. I think one of the ways you could have conveyed maybe the craziness of, like, her changing, or, like, her acceptance of, like, this kind of mystical power, like, have it shot differently, or have it be like, maybe, like, some more like on her eyes, and she's like, you can see, like, just like this desire, this need, this, like, just like she's falling apart, and, like, I don't know, just like it felt like I didn't feel like it was, like, really shot very great. I just feel like there's better ways to convey disorder, and there's better ways to, instead of, like, still shots and, like, here's her sitting at a TV and, like, here you go.
You know where I think all the time went? I think there's a character in this movie that doesn't have to be, but is going to be the only character that we really remember from this entire movie.
Yeah, we have to talk about it.
We have to get it out of the way.
We have to get it out of the way.
Jared Leto shows up to this movie.
Hey, the Mamma Mia!
And he did his homework. I just don't know if it was for, like,
the right movie.
The Gucci movie. He definitely studied how to sound like Mario from the movie Super Mario Brothers. Iconic. I kind of want him to get nominated.
He might.
Ironically.
Because, like, I hate and love his performance. And, like, my detractions from this movie are not based off Jared Leto.
He's hilarious.
I think he's great, honestly.
He's good.
Like, I'm like, dang, is his performance really good? Or is it like...
Or does it just not fit in this puzzle of a mess of a movie?
Yeah, his performance is good. It's maybe not fitting in this movie. Yeah. And so, like, I'm like, man, yeah, you, like, I get it. I get what you're doing.
But there's your time. He does get
But he has
20
to be
minutes.
in there. He has to be in there. Right?
I don't know if he does. I think you can explain all of his stuff through narration. That's what I'm saying. Like, in all this time,
But he's a shareholder and whatever.
sure, but I'm just saying, like, all he is a means to an end.
Yeah.
He's just keeping us from the business. I don't need to know anything about the guy. We don't really get to know that much about Aldo either. We get to know more about Jared Leto than we do about Al Pacino.
Yeah.
And Al Pacino's technically in it more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, there's some weird depth used for a side character that, like, I think extends the movie, even though the core focus is of this relationship. So it's just kind of, I think that's what it feels like. It feels like there's two, like, movies happening at one point that it just doesn't have to.
Yeah.
When, like, their sole purpose is, like, we just need you to sign on the dotted line at the end of this movie.
I just feel like you need something about his character. Yeah, maybe you don't need as much time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just...
No, I'm glad that we have him.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I'm just saying the end goal was that
You need
he
to
eventually
sign,
gets
yeah.
bought out.
He gets bought out.
And then this causes this causes that. It's all
And
a
even
chain
like
reaction.
his Jared Leto we're talking about, right? His sellout wasn't even on screen. They say it. They just say like, "Oh, I sold out."
Correct. That's what I'm saying. Like, it just feels like an unnecessary amount of energy went into his character, and it like feels deserving because Jared Leto like
Really
kills
tried.
it.
He tried.
But it's also in the end so unnecessary that it feels like, why did we get somebody so special to play somebody to feel so important when in the end it didn't really amount to anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we'll end up talking about Paolo Gucci
A long time.
a long time past House of Gucci. I don't think I needed to know a lick about Paolo Gucci in order to understand House of Gucci.
Do you think that's just because
They already said he's an idiot of a son. He's an idiot of a son. Like, we know
That's
what
true.
his story
That's true.
is.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You think that's just because of like
They could.
because they based it off of the book that was written and like he was a major character and like he's
Oh,
important
totally.
enough to be like
I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's like important enough to you got to be like, okay, there is this third Gucci, whatever. Let's make him a character.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think, for sake of
Dramatization.
to make this the cleanest, best, well explained, you're clearly choosing to focus on the relationship between Lady Gaga and Adam Driver. So what you do is you say Paolo's kind of in there, but he's such an idiot that
He's not
his shares are really just Al Pacino's shares.
Good. Yeah.
Game
okay.
over.
Okay. Yeah.
Now we cut out 20 minutes of the film that
Minimum,
can either
yeah.
be thrown right back in to fix all of their shit,
Or just gone.
or they're just gone.
Yeah.
And now the movie is like clean.
Crisp. Yeah. Okay.
It's unfortunate though, because like in the end, I'm not going to be like, what was Lady Gaga's name? She was really good in that movie. I'm going, fucking Jared Leto was fucking wild.
I mean, like, it's so weird, but was he the best performance?
That's what I told
I don't
you.
know.
I was like,
I don't
he's
know.
either the best or the worst part about this movie.
And I don't know.
I just told you that he probably should just be cut because it's so unnecessary. But he's so wild that like the troll like meme part of me just goes, he needs to stay in here. Because he actually is good.
Yeah. Oh, it's insane.
It just doesn't feel like he fits into this movie.
No.
It's wild.
No.
I've never experienced anything like this where it's like someone shows up with just a different kind of energy and does a really good job. I don't know. I mean, it kind of feels like I'm trying to think if there's even an example. I mean, it feels like if Heath Ledger showed up in The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight didn't need Joker yet.
Yeah. Okay.
Or something.
And he was a really
Obviously
great
Joker
performance,
fits perfect in The Dark Knight,
But like,
and he
if
goes
there
way
was, like,
over the top.
If there was like Scarecrow as the main villain or something.
Yeah, but then you just also threw Heath Ledger's Joker in there, and you're just like, what do we do with this? You
Yeah.
know? Like, it was like it was too good to leave off screen, but it would never needed to be on screen to begin with. So I think that fixes everything, which is unfortunate because I think we like him the most and we'll probably remember him the most.
He's at least the most memorable part of the movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Balagucci.
Man, I just like, I don't know if it was hype for me, but I think I am just disappointed. I think I'm just like, man, this movie could have been great. And I'm just like, I went into it like, man, this is going to be like interesting and intriguing. I'm just like, it wasn't any of those things.
I don't think that's an issue from you, like that you overhyped it. I think this movie hyped itself up. I mean, like the trailer itself was like, this is going to be a big deal. Are you ready to experience the story of a family of a lifetime and all this stuff? And it's just like, this was just mismarketed. Like, I don't think what you guys had was that special. I think you got some really talented people to do like a
okay story,
a mediocre story.
Where it's like, yeah, okay, like I guess like a high class family hired a hitman to kill another part of the family. That's kind of like okay,
he
that's
still went out in such like I mean, I understand you can't like overdo it, or like if this is obviously what happened in true life, I understand, but it just was like it just even ended kind of just like
and now it's over.
All that and just some bald dude who took a couple grand just pops you.
Yeah, and then it's like and then they got caught. And then, well, Gucci's actually a really great brand, and maybe you should buy some leather goods. And like, and then it was just done.
Honestly, and not that I could ever like, one, I can't even get a pair of Air Jordans for like $150, but like, let alone a pair of Gucci's for like $900. This movie made me go like, oh, I would have bought Gucci if I could have bought it knowing that some family members were there. This actually made me go like, I don't feel like there's ever going to be a reason that I would get something from Gucci.
Yeah.
It was kind of wild. It was kind of like at the end, it like wasn't promotion for me. It was kind of like, oh, this kind of explained why I don't care about it anymore.
Yeah, I'm like, I was at least like, oh, I'm kind of interested in being like, I know nothing about high fashion. I'd be interested to be like, maybe like what's going on. Like I like to know a little bit about everything. So maybe it's just like I want to kind of know like, oh, maybe what's like a cool designer that's really good right now and whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. But did it make me want to buy Gucci? No.
Nope. No Gucci.
No Gucci for this boy. Only a calzone.
There was a calzone in this movie.
There was a calzone in this movie and it looked delicious.
It looked alright.
There's a street calzone, you know?
Yeah, it was.
I have nothing else to say about this movie, except that I wish it was better.
Yeah, I think this is just a classic case of like, hey, if you want to like be taken seriously and promote your movie seriously, like you hired all the right people. I just don't think you had the right vision.
Yeah.
You know, like no one's going to knock you for who you picked. I think everyone's going to knock you for how you executed it.
Yeah.
So
I think so.
If you want to see like Lady Gaga, Adam Driver, Jared Leto, like kill it.
Act.
I mean, Al Pacino passively, he could be asleep and still be a good actor.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the guy just, it doesn't matter how old.
Yeah.
Till he dies, he'll just show up and just slay. Jeremy Irons, same way. Just like, what the hell? This is crazy. Like, they were both on in one scene, and I'm just sitting here going, like, the majesty of this scene of Al Pacino and Jeremy Irons just chilling in front of each other. Can you imagine just, like, I bet Lady Gaga, Adam Driver are just, like, on set anyway, just watching that happen. I mean, that's insane. The amount of success of two men acting on that scene. And it wasn't even, like, that good of a scene or whatever.
But
it's
great
like,
act. No.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like, that's kind of why you go to see this movie. You're just like, it's like an amusement park thing. Yeah. It's like, look at all the people we collected in the same thing. Yeah. This is cool. It felt like an experience.
That's a good point. To be like, look at all these people we collected. And that's it.
Yeah, this is the perfect case of valuing the experience over just making a good movie.
Yeah, okay. I agree.
I think. I mean, I think 6.5 is still reasonable and
yeah.
So I'm with you. Like I get what you're saying because I do think when it's good, but I just think like
There's so many other movies that do better than this, and exactly with less,
yeah,
with a less
it's like
better cast.
I hope Ridley Scott gets like a second shot and then just doesn't and just makes a sci-fi with those same people, or like
Yeah,
have Al Pacino be in a sci-fi and I'll just be like, this is the greatest movie of all
Yeah.
time. You know, I don't know. It just feels like out of all the things,
Yeah.
why this?
yeah.
I don't know.
Man.
Oh well.
Wow. Is there anything else you want to say about House of the Gucci?
No, I think we pretty much covered it. I'm glad we saw it
I am glad I saw it too.
because I do think it's gonna make its way into parts of this.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't get over.
I really hope it doesn't like sweep Oscars
I don't-
or something like that.
Well, I just don't want it to be like 7 nominations for this. It deserves maybe 2 at best.
Where'd you put it?
I think Lady Gaga could get nominated.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Adam Driver gets nominated. I could see it.
I honestly think he could, and I think Pacino will just get nominated because he's in the movie. Or I would put Jared Leto actually, not Pacino.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
If they put Pacino and not Leto because Leto just was crazy or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
I'll be pissed because Al Pacino didn't actually
Do much.
for me in
No.
this movie. Like he played his part well.
He was Al Pacino.
but it wasn't like a master class of
Yeah.
acting.
I think you'll get the 3 of them as nominations. I think you're gonna get a Best Picture nomination. I
Well,
honestly think it's gonna
God,
happen.
Please no.
I think it's gonna happen. I don't think
Please
it's gonna
no.
win. There's no way it's gonna win.
I think that would be a waste of a spot.
It's gonna get nominated.
Ugh.
I'm telling you it right now.
Well, we'll do our Oscars episode.
It's gonna get nominated. 100%.
I'll be disappointed if that's true.
What else are you gonna nominate? You got 10 movies.
Fair. It's gotta be Dune, baby.
You got Dune. And
If Dune doesn't get nominated for Best Picture and this does,
yeah, I'm gonna.
I'll riot.
Yeah.
because I think
There's gonna be
I
a
think
holy
Dune
war
could-
in Dune's name.
Dune could not get nominated because of like it's sci-fi, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And this
Mad
gets
Max
it.
Fury got nominated, so
Well, okay, but still, I don't know. I don't know if Dune gets it.
I could see a world
I think
where Dune
falls
doesn't
more
get
in the
nominated.
Star Wars realm where it's like it's not going to get nominated
Yeah,
for Best Picture.
that's true. That's true. I can definitely see Dune getting snubbed. I think both will get nominated, but I can definitely see Dune more likely not getting nominated than House of Gucci.
But if Dune doesn't and Gucci does,
oh, I'm not watching.
I'll never watch the Oscars.
Yeah.
Again. I think that's like a fair.
I think that's fair.
I think that's totally fair.
I think that is, yeah.
I
'Cause, like,
can
the
see
reason-
acting awards for this,
Yeah.
but it does not. Yeah.
It's gonna get best. It's gonna get Best Picture now.
Oh, I swear to God, if you're right.
I feel it. This like just feels like the movie that will get.
It might campaign the most,
Yeah.
sure. And I mean, I think on paper, how do you beat it?
If I
But
didn't
I'm
see
just
if I
saying-
didn't see this movie and saw it got nominated, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like it's got that dangerous like actors may vote for this just because they're like "Fuck, Lady Gaga and Adam Driver with Ridley Scott. I'm in.
Yeah.
Oh, please, Lord.
It's gonna.
Don't.
It's getting nominated. 100%. 100%.
And I think the only I think we should just need to tell people like why are we so harsh on this versus like whatever. This movie is trying to be.
It's trying to be
one
the
of the best
picture,
movies of all
Yeah.
time. Or sorry, of this year.
if not all time.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's just like it needs that extra like, hey, we need to kind of make sure you get knocked down and understand
Yeah.
that you did like okay.
You're like, this is like the A student being like, huh, I got this in the bag.
Yeah, like I didn't actually do my homework because I've been an A student for
Yeah.
so long.
Don't study for the
And it's
test.
like, well,
and
that's
you
fine,
like,
but you can still fail.
cool, yeah, and you got like a C, and you're like,
Yeah.
whoa, wait, hold on.
Yeah. And so I just don't think we wanted to get the sympathy like nominations of like, hey, these people just deserve it because it's the people who always do good stuff. Nope, bullshit. Don't do it.
Above or below 4 nominations total in any category.
I want below 4.
I want below 4, but it's gonna get 4 even. I think.
I I don't think it will get supporting actor.
No.
I don't think people are going to actually pick Jared Leto. And I think he's the only supporting actor you can hire for this.
Yeah, it's not Irons.
So I think it's
not. Yeah.
at a minimum. I think at least Lady Gaga gets it. I don't know if automatically Adam Driver gets it.
Mm-hmm.
I think Adam Driver probably also has
like
a couple
costume
other
design.
options.
It might get costume design just because it's about the movie.
That's true. Yeah, I just don't think it deserves Best Picture, so I'm still thinking like 4 or below, 4
Okay.
or less.
I'm gonna say 4 even.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say
you do 4 or more, and I'll do 4 or less.
Okay.
Or
So if it-
sorry, I'll do
3.
yeah, I'll do 3 or less, and you can do 4 or more.
Wow, that's a wide range. I'll do 4. I'll do 4 to 5. If it gets to 6, I'm not taking that as a win.
Okay.
If it gets 6, there's no way I'm calling that. I would take
Okay.
4 to 5.
Fine, fair enough.
I would say right now it'd be best. It's either
It's not
acting.
getting screenplay.
It's 2 acting. It's costume and it's best picture.
That's the max I can think of.
Yeah, it's not going to get
and I
anything
really
else.
don't want Best Picture.
It might get best adapted because it is technically best adapt. It is adapted screenplay
Best Adapt.
because it is based off a book. I don't think so though, but it could be.
I just hate this.
I just feel
where
like this
it's
is gonna get this is gonna get so many nominations.
so sad. But you're right. I mean, if it's a soft year or like not a lot of people went and saw the things, you're right. I don't know. I can't think of like 5 other movies that could beat it out.
It's this. It's West Side Story. It's maybe Last Duel. It's Dune. It's some other indie stuff that we're not seeing yet until like January.
West Side Story.
West Side Story is gonna get some noms.
I mean, maybe In the Heights can do some stuff, but I don't think it will.
Not
'cause
Best Picture.
It'll
nothing,
get forgotten.
Mhm.
So, yeah. All right. Dang. Please, Dune, just beat everything.
Yep.
Beat everyone.
Somebody help a Dune, please.
My desert, my Dune. I love it.
I'm excited for the Oscars now because I just want to see how much it gets nominated.
Man, I would be so happy if it doesn't.
Oh, that would be so good. I will pay you. I'll buy you dinner if it gets 0 nominations.
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
Gladly. And then I'll pay you back. Awesome. But no, I mean, I think we can't praise the acting enough.
Right.
The immersion into this movie, well done. If you're really into the Gucci fam, hey,
More power
I
to
think
you.
we got a movie for you.
Yep.
And I think they couldn't have hired any better.
They had the talent.
I think it's just a pacing issue and a overall length. Why did they do what they did?
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think it was it was truly a poor use of time.
Yeah.
Where you end up kind of going like, why don't I know the motivations of this character that I spent literally the entire movie with?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That should never be an issue for a movie that's 2 hours and 47. That's almost 2 movies. And you still don't know fully why a character did what they did. Blows my mind.
Yeah.
No explanation. And then at the end you get a few title cards where it's like,
Then this happened.
this happened. It's like, but I don't care anymore because I don't know why they did what they did.
Mm-hmm.
You never told me the why. You just told me they did.
Yeah. They just told me the do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Show, don't tell. That's the rule.
I guess. I don't know. Just blew my mind. We saw a couple movies that night where we're both just like, why can we see this and no one else can? That's wild. I don't get it. I don't even think we're that good. I just think like,
I don't think people are loving this movie as much as they think. Like,
no, I'm saying we already know what to fix.
I just think the machine of the industry, whatever, you got to make the movie, you got to do this. Like, it's already filmed. We can't do reshoots, whatever.
Sure.
Like, there's
I
enough.
know, but man, there's got to be some conviction to be like, oh, this is a piece of shit. Like, we got to stop. Like, or, hey, let's have him come back for 2 weeks. I know it's going to cost a bunch of money, but like, it's better for this.
I think it's just
It blows my
I think
mind.
it's just industry. It's just gonna like it
I
has to
guess.
come out.
I'm sure I'm naive and like it's like you don't understand, Nick. That'll cost like half a movie's worth more, and it's like
I'm sure
I
to
guess,
get Adam
whatever.
Driver and Lady Gaga back, that's going to cost a cheap, big,
That's
bright
fair.
penny.
Yeah, that's fair. Anyway,
Wow. Well, I don't know if you've heard any House of Gucci reviews, but you haven't heard one from us. Not us united in our dislike of this movie.
we'll see you later.
Thanks
Everybody.
for listening.
You've just listened to Not Us United. You can find us under Not Us United on Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube. Please leave us a review and consider subscribing to our podcast. You can reach out for future podcast topic suggestions at notusunitedpod@gmail.com.